English the only background. That's all.
Air conditioning. Ma Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachaline Girvi Shesha Shunyavai Pasmatya Sachaline Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. We made it. Looking around, I see devotees that have come from some very far away places. Did you make it here with all the devices? Huh? Tomorrow morning. So just a little housekeeping matter. Because of different languages, as the yatra goes on and the equipment arrives tomorrow morning, we'll have simultaneous translation. But right now the only group that has it together is the Chinese group over here. And otherwise, and otherwise the rest of you will do something like this, as we did in the past, a Hindi group and a Telugu group and a Tamil group and any other languages? Huh? Telugu, I said Telugu. Hindi, Telugu, Tamil. So we'll have those of you that are going to do the translating, you take notes, and then we're done, you do a little summary with your group. And tomorrow we'll have the devices for translating simultaneous. Technology is nice when it works, and when you have it. Many devotees have spent many hours in preparation for this event, and many more hours to actually make this event a nice experience for you all. So in advance, and at the conclusion also, I'd like to thank very warmly those devotees who have been, for practically a whole year, have been making arrangements so you all can take part in this yatra here in Dwaraka. So thank you very much. Some of you are very experienced in taking part in functions like this. Some of you are not. And some that are not, I'd like to share, because I've already been asked, what's the best way to take part in an event like this, a function in the Holy Dham, and receive the most, get the most benefit from it. Then of course at the end, how to take from the experience back to your life wherever you came from. Just like the holy name is all beneficial. Anyone can take advantage of hearing and chanting Krishna's holy name and receive enormous, unknown, transcendental benefit. And then of course, progressing further in the chanting of the holy name, there are offenses to be avoided and the necessity of being attentive while chanting the holy name, and a whole science of how to chant the holy name. An art and a life of devotion centered around the holy name. Similarly, the wonderful scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, they're the descending knowledge of the personality of Godhead, which we can become so much purified by. And then there's degrees of entering into the scripture in the proper manner, the most beneficial manner, and similarly the holy Dham. We're here, but according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, describing in relation to Sridham Mayapur, but the same principle applies. There's the eternal, transcendental realm, according to Bhagavad Gita, when this world is dissolved, annihilated, that will remain the transcendental manifestation of the eternal abode of the personality of Godhead is eternal. And sometimes it becomes manifest. It stays for some time, and Krishna may then withdraw that manifest Dham. But nonetheless, the Dham is eternal and is full of benedictory blessings, benedictions, transcendental mercy pouring down into the lives of those who try their best to access. So the advice in taking part in an event such as this is to be in a prayerful mood, understanding that there's a reality beyond the external so-called reality that we're all too familiar with. We have faith that there's a higher reality. We want to know that higher reality. We want to enter into that higher reality. We want to reside eternally in that higher reality. We have some faith. And prayerful mood means access to your maximum capacity, that core internal faith in the higher reality of transcendence. Because Dwaraka is one of those places. That's Krishna's eternal abode. Prabhupada, in relation to Vrindavan, said, you cannot enter Vrindavan simply by buying a ticket. Well, you can enter Vrindavan by buying a ticket, but you get the external. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's description is like oil on the surface of water. You know what that looks like? Oil on the surface of water? Oil spreads out very, very, very thin, because oil and water do not mix. Right? So, when you look at the surface of the water that has oil on the top, you don't see the water. You see the oil on top. So that's what we see when we come to Dwaraka, the oil on top. You can't enter Vrindavan or Mayapur or Dwaraka or the transcendental abode of the Lord simply by the external appearances of things. there's a transcendental dimension that has brought us here. This is here in Dwaraka is eternally a place of Krishna's pastime. Eternally means Krishna's eternal pastimes are eternally, not only presently, eternally, before the cosmic manifestation, during it and after it, before Krishna's appearance, during Krishna's appearance and after it. There's the manifest, prakat, and that's what we're going to hear primarily about. And then there's unmanifest to our vision, aprakat. Prakat, manifest. Aprakat, not manifest pastimes. This is an eternal realm of Krishna. And here we are. Prayerfully trying to hear the messages of Srimad Bhagavatam and other transcendental sources that are revealing the eternal hidden truths of this higher reality that we all have faith exists and we wish to access. So that prayerful mood, when you go to the places and see the deity forms of the Lord there, pray to the deity, whatever is in your heart about your relationship with Krishna or your desire to access that eternal reality, higher reality. Here with submission, because just like the Holy Name has innumerable, unlimited potencies, the Holy Dham also, one of the 5, according to Rupa Goswami, most potent activities in a life of devotion to Krishna. Residing in a sacred place, chanting the Holy Name, hearing the scripture, serving the devotees, and seeing the deity form of the Lord. We're going to be doing all of those here in Dwaraka together. There are things that we will hear that will not only stretch your imagination, they're beyond the imagination. That's good, because transcendental reality is beyond our imagination. That's good. So hear carefully to meditate on the nature of Krishna and his abode. And there's something I'll share with you. Just days upon days upon days I've spent assimilating as best as I can the pastimes of Krishna performed here. And it's simply a manifestation of varieties of love. As often Prabhupada would refer to the Shruti mantra, Raso by Saha. Saha is a pronoun indicating the absolute truth. The absolute truth is Rasa. And here in Dwaraka, Krishna manifests amazing loving exchanges with his amazing devotees. And that's Krishna. That's our worshipable Master and Lord of our life. So we'll hear about Krishna things that we're not used to hearing. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention in particular is before coming here, I heard from more than one person that, well, Vrindavan. We're here in Dwaraka because many devotees said, we go to Vrindavan, we go to Mayapur, we go to Puri, Can we sometimes go to Dwaraka too? And I would give them one of these, maybe someday. My appreciation is the completeness of Krishna is incomplete without Dwaraka. What does that mean? Because Krishna is everything. Now the most intimate and sweet feature of Krishna in his fullness is manifest in Vrindavan, which is not manifest in Mathura, which is less manifest in Dwaraka. But Krishna would be incomplete without them. In fact, this is exactly what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says about Goloka. I'm going to show you an image of Goloka in a short while. Not only that, but then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Goloka. Did you know that? He has an eternal abode, and his eternal abode is in Goloka. So there's a region in Goloka where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has his eternal pastimes. And Krishna would be incomplete without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performing his eternal pastimes in Goloka. In the mood of Krishna, trying to enjoy the happiness and the love and experience the qualities of Krishna as Radharani experiences, otherwise he would be incomplete. So that's negative, we'll say it positive. The completeness of Krishna includes all these things. Krishna in his fullness is there in Vrindavan. And so his pastimes are all attractive. Part of Krishna's completeness is his loving pastimes in Dwaraka. Otherwise, we could say, be not complete. But Krishna is complete, so Dwaraka is part of his completeness. There's a very nice description of this. From Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he writes, in Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwaraka, Krishna is said to display three different natures. It's the same Krishna, just displaying different natures of Krishna. And there's distinct qualities in each of those three places. In Vrindavan, he manifests all the qualities of Godhead in full. In Mathura, he manifests all his qualities but not fully. In Dwaraka, Krishna is complete in every way, but he doesn't manifest all of his divine qualities. He's the same person manifesting not all of his qualities, but not fully all of his qualities fully. So there's this overwhelming position of Vrindavan in terms of Krishna's various abodes. I'm going to show you, this is a nice image, rare photograph of the deity of Dwarkadish. And Srila Prabhupada has written about not making the mistake of de-emphasizing the pastimes of Krishna outside of Vrindavan. So one of those this is a verse from Queen Kunti's prayers, and you'll hear some devotees from Chicago singing the verse. You can follow along, hopefully. Is it muted? not even projecting. Vamsidhari, look at the screen, it's not even projecting. Okay, we'll skip it. Shrinvanti gayanti gyananti abhikshneshaha smaranti nandanti taveti tamchana taeva pashyanti ichirena tavakam bhava ho paramam padam bhujam. O Krishna, Kunti says, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities, or take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, one should not consider that Krishna's dealings with the Pandavas pictured here, there's Krishna in the middle, the 5 Pandavas, Kunti and Draupadi over there to the other side, are less important than his dealings with the gopis. We should not consider like that. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu certainly extolled the virtue of the love of the gopis as being the topmost. Prabhupada wanted us to understand the love of Krishna is perfect. Maybe we can say more perfect, most perfect. But perfect love is perfect love. And that's part of the fullness of Krishna. Similarly, this is a nice verse that comes just after the description of Vyasadeva compiling Srimad Bhagavatam, teaching it to Shukadeva, Shukadeva assimilating it, and then those who heard from Sutta Goswami about what Srimad Bhagavatam is, they want to hear the pastimes of Krishna. So immediately this verse follows. Sutta says, now I shall begin the transcendental narration of the Lord Sri Krishna and the topics of the birth, activities, and deliverance of King Parikshit, the sage amongst kings, as well as topics of the renunciation of the worldly order by the sons of Pandu. Now, there's this big crescendo about topics about Krishna, and he starts speaking about the Pandavas. So Prabhupada asks, why did he do that? It's supposed to be talks about Krishna. And Prabhupada writes, Lord Krishna is so kind to the fallen souls that he personally incarnates himself amongst the different kinds of living entities and takes part with them in daily activities. Krishna and his pure devotees, like the Pandavas, are on the same plane. Krishna is not without his devotees of all the rasas, and the pure devotees, like the Pandavas, are not without Krishna. The devotees of the Lord are interlinked, and they cannot be separated. Therefore, talks about them are all Krishna Katha, or the topics of the Lord. But the fullness of Krishna includes his pastimes in Dwaraka. How many years did Krishna reside here in Dwaraka? Nearly 100 years, compared to the time that he spent in Vrindavan and Mathura. It's a major portion of his life. And so many wonderful rasa-filled pastimes Krishna performed here. Hearing them helps you, helps us feel more connected to Krishna and the fullness of Krishna and the wonder of Krishna, absorbed in thought of Krishna. Here's a poster or painting of a depiction of Brahma Samhita. You know the verse from Brahma Samhita. Golokanami nijadami tale chatasya Devi maheshu haridama suteshu teshu. So this poster is depicting that shloka from Brahma Samhita, where down at the bottom, those of you in the back probably can't see, down here is Devi Dham. That's, the material world. The realm of Devi, Durga Devi, her prison house, that place. And above Devi Dham, Bhaktisiddhanta says, Lord Brahma is looking up. Above Devi Dham is Mahesh Dham. Mahesh Dham is in this region here. There's Lord Shiva and his consort Durga. And here's Shivaloka, this place right here. Then this is all the Brahmajyoti. And within that Brahmajyoti, there's Haridam. Haridam means Vaikuntha. Haridam. Notice up here, at the very top of Haridam is Ayodhya. Devidam, Maheshdam, Haridam, Golokadam. And within this region, we're going to take a close-up of this region. There's Ayodhya, and there's the whirl of the lotus of Vrindavan. Of course, at the center are Radha and Krishna, and the petals of the lotus indicate the abodes of the gopi assistants of Radha, and then tens of thousands of petals indicating the residences of the other associates of Krishna in Goloka. This white region is Sweta Dvip. Sweta means white. In this region is where Mahaprabhu resides. And just by artists' rendering, just outside that is Mathura, Jagannath Puri, and Dwaraka. They're all part of Goloka. We're in Goloka. Well, at least the oil part is covering Goloka. And we want, in a prayerful, enthusiastic, submissive mood of prayer and hearing, to enter into Goloka. Because Dwaraka is part of Goloka. The topmost region of the spiritual sky is Goloka. Dwaraka is part of it. Again, referring to Bhaktisiddhanta's language, incomplete without it. There's the world, there's the Kurola at the center, Radha and Krishna, and then again, Golokadam. So, we're here, certainly in ISKCON. It's our most popular, well-attended festival. It's Krishna's appearance, but Krishna is eternal, so it's a pastime. Krishna appears, and he performs pastimes, and he disappears. Here in Dwaraka, we'll hear about that pastime. And his pastimes in Dwaraka are part of his pastimes. But those pastimes are eternal, and also the abode is eternal. There's a pastime of Dwaraka appearing. There's a pastime of Dwaraka disappearing. But the abode is eternal. And the aprakat, or the unmanifest eternal pastimes of Krishna, are eternally going on. And those who are qualified, they can see them, or they can be revealed to them, but not with material eyes, but with the eyes of prema. I wanted to appreciate just a few passages that describe, not one is Narada Muni, there's Narada Muni. Just after, we're going to hear the details of Krishna freeing from prison 16,100 princesses and married them all. He did some other things in between. Then after marrying them, Narada Muni wanted to go visit Dwaraka and see, how is Krishna doing this? How is he residing in Dwaraka with 16,108 princesses? So he went to visit. And when he went to visit, he entered into the palace where Rukmini was serving Krishna, although thousands of maid servants were there to attend Rukmini's needs in serving Krishna. Instead, she personally was fanning Krishna and attending to all of his comforts. As soon as Narada came in, immediately Krishna stood, offered his sitting place to Narada, and he literally worshipped Narada Muni. Now, this is a pastime because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Narada is his devotee, but it's a human-like pastime where he's a king and he's receiving a brahmana to teach Brahmanya Devaya Krishna, holds brahmanas in special regard, and he literally worshipped him. And details are described. And Krishna asked him, why have you come? How can I be of some service to you? Is there anything that I can do for you? Any wish that you have, please say, and I will arrange for it. Treating him with the highest of regard as one is to regard a brahmana. Narada was amazed at this conduct of Krishna, because he's his devotee. He just came to pay his respects, he said, and so he went to the next palace. In the next palace, Krishna was playing a game with Uddhava and one of his queens. Immediately Krishna stood and received him as if he hadn't seen Narada before. He said, oh, what good fortune. A qualified brahmana, a great devotee as you, has come to my palace. Now my life is complete and successful. What service can I do? Is there some mission that I can help you with? Narada was silent. He didn't know what to say. And then he went to the next palace, the same reception, as if he'd never... And in each of the palaces, I'll just read. Krishna was doing something else. In short summary, time and space are totally at Krishna's command. Throughout the course of a day, it was many different times of the day in Dwaraka for Krishna in each one of the places where he was. And he was doing different things simultaneously in each of the different palaces. Just read. One place, one palace, Krishna was coddling his infant children. The next, Krishna was preparing to take a bath. Next palace, Krishna was performing Vedic sacrifices. Next, in another palace, he was feeding brahmanas. In another, he was eating the remnants that he had offered to the brahmanas. In another, it was morning time, and he was chanting his morning Gayatri. In another place, another palace, he was resting in bed. In another palace, he was consulting with his ministers. In another palace, he was playing in water with his female companions. another palace, he's giving charity to the brahmanas, and so forth and so on. Just at the same time of the day, it was different times of the day in different palaces. One time it was night, because the commentators say some of these activities, these are activities of a pious householder. He was hearing descriptions from the Puranas. That's an afternoon activity. There were morning activities, there were evening activities. All during the same day. Time is very flexible for Krishna. Because it's simply assisting him in his pastimes of love. There's another long description where Krishna wakes in the morning. Oh, so when Narada finished visiting, doesn't say how many of the 16,108 palaces he visited, he came back to the palace with Rukmini and basically said, wow. I said, I am your devotee, but only by your mercy have I been able to see, to some extent, the unlimitedness of your opulences and your glories and your potencies. And I simply pray to you for the good fortune of singing your glories wherever I may go. And Krishna explained to Narada the reason for his appearance, the reason for his pastimes, the reason for his conducting himself as if he was an ordinary person, to be instructive for ordinary persons. Because ordinary persons are not necessarily going to enter into loving exchanges with Krishna, and so they need an example of how to perform ordinary activities, so that through those ordinary activities they may become qualified to enter into loving exchange with Krishna. That's why I do these things, to set an example for the whole world. Narada fell at his feet, circumambulated him, and begged his leave. And for over 100 years, Krishna did these things in loving exchanges with his devotees. I'm going to read, because it's so nicely written. This is Prabhupada speaking or writing the Krishna book of the request from Vishvakarma to construct Dwaraka. Dwaraka is eternal. It's just a pastime of manifesting it for ordinary vision. Krishna, first of all, constructed a very strong wall covering 96 square miles, and the wall itself was within the sea. It was certainly wonderful, and was planned and constructed by Vishvakarma. In this new, well-constructed city, developed within the sea, it had regular, known as kalpavriksha trees. These desire trees are not ordinary, like ordinary trees in the material world, etc. The city was filled with many palaces and gopuras, or big gates. In fact, that's what Dwaraka means, the city of gates. Almost all the palaces were skyscrapers, 7 stories. In each and every house there were underground rooms containing big golden and silver pots for stocking grains. And there were many water pots within the rooms. The bedrooms were all bedecked with jewels, and the floors were mosaic pavements of Marakata jewels. The Vishnu deity, worshipped by the descendants of Yadu, was installed in each house in the city. And then the arrangement was that the divisions of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra were all nicely orchestrated. The city was filled with the sounds of birds and bees flying about the parks and pleasure gardens, while its lakes crowded with so many different birds, with their calls of the swans and the cranes. Dwaraka boasted 900,000 royal palaces, all constructed with crystal and silver, and splendorously decorated with huge emeralds. Inside these palaces, the furnishings were bedecked with gold and jewels. Traffic moved along a well-laid-out system of boulevards, roads, intersections, and marketplaces, and many assembly houses and temples graced the charming city. The roads, courtyards, commercial streets, and residential patios were all sprinkled with water and shaded from the sun's heat by banners waving from flagpoles. Goes on. The nature of Dwaraka in this realm of Goloka was the picture of opulence. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there's a description of Gopakumar passing through the coverings of the universe, 7 coverings, and each one of the coverings, the opulence in the coverings of the universe was far greater than the previous covering, and far greater than the next covering, and far greater, and far greater. And then when he reached Haridam, far greater, and in Ayodhya Dham, far greater than Dwaraka Dham. The maximum, how to say, the overwhelming feature of opulence was manifest in Dwaraka. This is his mood of Aishwarya, or fullness of opulence, even greater than in Vaikuntha, even greater than Ayodhya. That's what Dwaraka represents. And it's part of the fullness of Krishna, because he has such opulence. He is the fullness of all opulence. So it was manifest here. There's another very nice illustration. Can't see it so well. Just depicting, we had one of our Gita camps in Chicago one year was chapter 10 Bhagavad Gita, Opulence of the Absolute. So one of the participants, the adults, her field is architecture. So she studied the descriptions of Dwaraka and had the children build a 3-dimensional Dwaraka as part of the project for the Krishna Gita camp. And it was awesome. It was so awesome that the kids were so excited. It was on those big styrofoam sheets that are like, 4x8. There was like 10 of them or something. It was huge, the city of Dwaraka. And it became an exhibit that they put in high schools. And then the kids came and told the story of the city of Dwaraka. And this is this, and that's that, and there's Krishna, and there's... There are different spirits, or different mentalities, or different moods of love. And one of them is the mood of love of just honoring the splendor of the opulence of someone or something. And that's Goloka. That's Dwaraka, the Dwaraka feature of Goloka. It's the fullness of that manifestation of opulence. But within that opulence, within that wonderful manifestation of Krishna, comes an ocean of loving exchanges. So this is another recommendation for those of you that would like some idea of how to get the most from our time together in Dwaraka. Listen with the ear of appreciating the human-like feature of Krishna. Although he's not human, it's the other way around, but he takes the position, even in the midst of all this opulence, of very human-like conduct. Sometimes, just the opposite, not at all human-like, but many, many cases, but with perfect character. And such loving exchange. You'll see as we continue going along. So, this is Krishna's eternal abode. We can't see it, but we can try to hear it, and by hearing this message and letting that message go deep within, then our appreciation for Krishna will grow. There's a deep mystery. The whole of transcendence is mysterious. Anyone that has heard Prabhupada speak in classes or morning walk conversations or those kinds of reported, he just marvels at how foolish people are that they can't understand the simplest thing about the presence of the soul. Dehinos Vinyata Dehe Komaram Yoganamura. We can see it, and still they can't get it. So what to speak of higher things and higher things and higher things and higher things? The mystery of Krishna is very deep and profound. And the more you go into that mystery of Krishna, you'll find it's not just deep like the ocean, but it's an ocean that has no bottom. There's no limit to the mystery of Krishna. And part of that fullness of the mystery of Krishna is in this eternal abode in Dwaraka. So, I think I'll end with that. I invite you all, looking around the audience who've traveled from distant places, many of you, jet lag is tugging at you. Some of you are not from such a faraway place, but I think I'll let you all take good rest and have kirtan for a while. And so for the morning class, they'll be here. Huh? Okay. Do you know who to give to? Okay. So let's do the announcing right now. Give them stand up and say what you need to say. Because this is a very important part of the experience.
Hare Krishna. We have the receivers and also the transmitters. So those who are translating in Hindi, Telugu, Tamil languages, please stay back or look for me here. I'll be waiting here. You can come and take the transmitters. And those who want to hear those in different languages, they can come over and receive the receivers. I have the receivers, about 70 receivers with me with headphones. So please come and see me here. I'll be here. So please collect them tonight itself so that you will be ready for tomorrow's morning session.
Padmanabha, you want to make some announcements?
Hare Krishna. Prasadam will be served for 45 minutes from now. Just to give us an idea, could you please raise your hands, those who have not taken Prasadam, could you kindly raise your hands? Get a count. Okay, thank you. And one other humble request, please, as you enter the Prasadam serving area, please leave your shoes away from the entrance, because otherwise what's happening is the entrance gets blocked and people have to step on the shoes and walk. So kindly leave your shoes away from the entry to the Prasadam area, Prasadam serving area. Thank you.
Do they need to know who's going to do the translating for Tamil? Krishna Shakti is here? Are you going to do the Tamil translation? I can't hear. Yes? Okay. So those of you that would like to receive Tamil translation, just see her, Krishna Shakti, and she'll take care of you. Because you make an arrangement each place where you'll all sit and so forth. Who's going to do the Tamil translation? Huh? Where is he?
They just gave it. They just went it.
Oh. Okay. Okay. So you won't be able to see Saranga Thakur because he's not here. Tomorrow morning, just do that first thing so that everybody knows. And who's going to do the Hindi translation? Jagatananda. Can you stand so that people don't know you? If you'd like Hindi translation, find him and he'll help you, be situated where you need to be situated, however that's going to work. You going to have everybody sit together like they are? Okay. Little housekeeping. So those of you that need to go take prasadam, can go take prasadam. Those of us that don't need to go take prasadam can join the kirtan for a while. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki
Hare Krishna. Just one more short announcement. We need volunteers for serving prasadam tonight as well as on other days. So kindly contact Shamakan Prabhu so that they will use your services.